Welcome to the Honest Media. I am your host, Tom Papper. Today is, of course, Thursday, September 7th, 2017. Sorry we missed last week. We're back now. We've got quite a bit to talk about. We're going to start the show by talking about USA Today doxing innocent golfers because they happen to be on a Trump golf course. We're going to move on to the SPLC after that, talk about Kid Rock, and later in the episode, we've got some interesting news about the EPA that's going to make a lot of people very happy. But Craig, we got to start. We'd be remiss if we didn't. The mainstream media, they're really getting into the act of doxing nowadays, which is flagrantly illegal.
Yeah.
I mean, they are leaking personally identifiable information about individuals. And I looked up the law, and doxing is really about the expectation of privacy. So these people, they're golfing on a private golf course. They're minding their business. They pay their membership dues to Trump organization or whatever. And USA Today starts taking sneaky pictures of them. They match it up with online information, and then they leak the detail. They don't leak, they just publish it. They call it journalism. They publish the information about these poor people, 4,500 of them.
Jeez.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's not surprising coming from them, though, but
well, and of course,
sounds like it's totally illegal.
And this is only, this is shortly after CNN did the same exact thing. Mm-hmm. They doxed the poor guy who made the meme.
Yeah, now these innocent golfers.
They're golfers.
Yeah.
They didn't even make a meme.
Uh-huh.
They've probably never even seen Trump in their lives. This is from the Gateway Pundit. USA Today outs 4,500 club members at Trump Golf Club. Calls it journalism. USA Today published a hit piece on the people who are members of Trump golf clubs. Their tweet is, USA Today's tweet, Trump gets millions from golf members. CEOs and lobbyists get access to the president. So now anybody, according to USA Today, anybody who has a membership at a golf club knows and has a personal relationship with the owner. I mean, that's insane to me.
Yeah, that's...
I mean, if you have the money, Craig, and you're a passionate person who loves golf, you could literally go get a membership to this club. And therefore, in the USA Today's mind, you have access to the president.
Oh, yeah, because he's just there all the time.
That's what he does. He golfs and he talks to literally all 4,500 members. That's what he does. I mean, it's totally bonkers. And, of course, Twitter is going insane about this because it's like, how can you do this and call it news? It makes no sense.
Well, hopefully they get in trouble for it because it's just ridiculous.
We can only hope so.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how this can just be. I mean, these are, and one thing that you mentioned, how hopefully they get in trouble for, these are 4,500 people who, according to them, are CEOs and lobbyists. You think they're just going to lay down while somebody doxes them and releases their private information?
Yeah.
It's totally, it's bizarre.
Yeah, there's probably 50 people there that know him, maybe a little bit more. Or
maybe they wave at him. I mean, he's got the hair, and it's going to be hard to miss the president when he comes.
Yeah,
but I don't understand. And this is how they did it. USA Today ID'd 4,500 Trump Golf Club members through social media and a website golfers used to track handicaps, then researched who they were and published the information. This is the woman who wrote it. This is saying how she did it and how proud she is of her investigative journalism.
Oh yeah. Like she just uncovered the secret UFO files or something.
That's right. She lynched it. She got the proof that Trump is a Nazi, and these 4,500 people are his brown shirts.
Yeah.
It's totally insane. So now golfing, I guess, does this make golfing the official new sport of the alt-right? Is that what this is coming to?
It could be.
It could. So I don't know.
If that's all these people got their time to spend their time on, it tells you that he's not doing anything wrong. So
imagine being able to do that for your job, though. Imagine looking at pictures on social media looking at, like, I'm going to circle that guy's face, zoom and enhance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is going to be good. Look him up on golfhandicaps.net. Oh, we're going to get this guy. And do it. I mean, this must have taken months, or else they had a massive team working on it.
Next, it'll be everybody that's ever stayed at one of his hotels and gambled at the casino.
Anybody who's ever had one of their office in a Trump tower. I mean, it's like a dragnet against anybody who has ever. I mean, that's the thing, though. There is a big layer of separation between I have a membership at Trump's golf club and I have a personal relationship with Donald Trump, President of the United States.
Yeah.
Totally insane. And they act like he started this golf venture. They act like he hasn't been golfing for his entire life, and he hasn't owned golf courses for like 30 years, because they're acting like this is suddenly Trump's way to get the lobbyists in, and it makes no sense. Totally insane. And speaking of lying leftists in the media, we have also, via Gateway Pundit, 47 conservatives have signed a letter warning the media of promoting the Southern Poverty Center of Hate, or Law Center, as they like to be called. And they are, I mean, this is a place that put a tiny, small town on their list. I wouldn't say the name of the town because I have empathy for these people. I have sympathy for them, really. They put a tiny little town on their list of hate-sponsoring communities. Town has like 600 people in it because allegedly, a couple years ago, some neo-Nazis from the Stormfront website had a book club meeting there.
Wow.
Therefore, this whole city, everybody in it, city council, every little farmer who lives there's in Indiana, they all support Nazism.
Yeah, they've pretty much labeled every organization in America a hate group at this point.
Yeah, no, you're not kidding.
Yeah.
You're not kidding. And I mean, I'm glad people are finally coming up against
that
this.
place has been a joke for a long time. It's just getting worse and worse and worse.
I mean, these are just some of the, there was a legitimate terrorist they talk about in this article. I'll just read a little bit. An LGBT volunteer carrying a bag of Chick-fil-A sandwiches shot up the Conservative Family Research Council headquarters in August of 2012. It was revealed he was influenced by the Southern Poverty Law Center. Southern Poverty Law Center also called Pamela Geller a racist neo-Nazi and said that she was responsible for the San Bernardino massacre. That this woman on the internet, she is responsible. Her words did this.
Yeah.
Totally insane.
That place is ridiculous, and the government takes a lot of its cues from that place too.
The government, the media, and I mean, they were also refuse to name Antifa as a hate group.
Yeah, not
when
surprising.
They're very clearly a hate group.
I'm pretty sure they named several Bible study groups hate groups on there.
Yes, literally anything. Anything is a hate group. We can only hope. I mean, I hope that. The media doesn't care what conservatives think, but it's nice to know that prominent conservatives, almost 50 of them, are sick of this thing, sick of this vile leftist rag masquerading itself as a nonprofit entity, and are taking a stand against it. We've got to take a moment off. You're watching The Honest Media. I'm Tom Pappert, here with Craig Chrysler. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to The Honest Media. I am Tom Pappert, your host. Next thing we want to talk about is something that we've been covering on this show since the rumors first started, since the website went up. Kid Rock, future Senator Rock, if we have anything to say about it. Kid Rock rattled off a political kind of everything you'd want to know about his belief system just here recently at a Grand Rapids show, which for those who may not remember, a couple months ago, maybe a month ago, I don't know, Craig, what do you think? But relatively recently, Kid Rock filed the necessary paperwork to where he can actually register voters at his rock shows. Which, that's just brilliant. Talk about 3D chess. You bring people, I mean, maybe he does a free concert and he's got 50,000 people there, and then all of a sudden he's registering voters who are going to go vote for him in the polls. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
But so he rattled off what people are calling a fiery stump speech at a Grand Rapids show. This is from the Detroit Free Press pop music group. Kid Rock got political Wednesday night in a warm-up show ahead of his big Detroit concert run, as political as he's ever gotten on stage. Playing for a high-energy capacity crowd at Van Andel Arena, the Metro Detroit-born star worked up a theatrical, rhyming, profanity-filled stump speech, knocking everything from deadbeat dads to those who take a knee during the national anthem, Football Cuck on Suicide Watch. The speech, preceded by Hail to the Chief and delivered at a podium with a pair of flag-waving female dancers at his side, turned out to be a prelude for a performance of a song, You Never Met a Mother Blanker Like Me. He said at one point, you'll enjoy this, Craig, he said nice things about single moms, but he bemoaned the ones who keep having kid after kid. His quote was, "Who can't take care of themselves, but keep having kid after blanking kid." He blasted those who call him a racist because he's, quote, not politically correct, and said, you think you have to remind me that Black Lives Matter? And then he snarled, Nazi blanking bigots and the KKK, screw all you blankers, stay the blank away. I hope this guy is in the Senate. I want to watch his speeches on C-SPAN so bad.
Yeah, sounds like it'd be good to have bikini-clad girls waving flags during a speech at the Senate.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, people say this is idiocracy. I'm like, no, this is the future of politics.
Yeah.
This is how we make politics interesting. The people who are against Kid Rock just hate fun. That's all there is to
true.
it. They hate fun.
And he can't be any worse than these other idiots we got running.
He'd be replacing a Democrat in Detroit and Michigan. So that's all you need to know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, get him in there.
Anybody replacing anybody in Michigan's better than what they have now.
Exactly. And one of the things about it is, while he still hasn't officially filed the paperwork to run, which I hope that he does, but he's already in polls being shown as either being within like 4 or 5 points or beating the Democrat incumbent.
Awesome.
He's already shown in polls. There was one poll where I think he was, if I remember correctly, 20 points ahead of all the other Republicans who could be running in the primary. I mean, it is totally nonsensical to put this guy down when it's like he could win it. We could have a new Republican senator.
Well, we know how polls work. If it shows him only 3 or 4 points behind, it means he's 20 above.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
So.
Well, yeah, of course, Hillary Clinton should be our president, right?
Yeah.
But
what happened?
What happened? Title and the answer on the same page.
Yes.
Hillary Clinton's new book. The moment came early. This is back to the article. The moment came early in a show featuring a completely overhauled set and stage production for Rock, who will open Detroit's Little Caesars Arena next week with a 6-show run. 6 shows, all in Detroit. Same area. I don't know. This
sounds like he's going for it.
This seems like it.
Free pizza probably from Little Caesars too.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And so hopefully it'll happen. I mean, I think that we are closer to a Republican senator in Michigan than we have been in a very long time, especially somebody in Detroit. He also, by the way, just side note, started his own restaurant in Detroit here recently.
Nice.
Now, speaking of leftists, one of the few leftists who is sometimes tolerable is under fire. That's Dianne Feinstein.
Ooh.
You know, she is...
I've never found her tolerable, but...
sometimes, I mean, in the scope of things, she's not that bad sometimes. She is... Did you know that she is the oldest member of the Senate?
I didn't know that.
Isn't that... how old are these people? Are they all octogenarians or what? And it's like, I thought it would be John McCain. He's up there. Anyway... So this is, she's facing what they call a growing storm on the left, not the right. And this is from Politico. Senator Dianne Feinstein has dominated California's politics for more than a quarter of a century, but facing blistering criticism that she's out of touch with the progressive left following her recent comments about President Donald Trump and DACA, that's the Deferred Action for blah, 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 Dreamers. It's increasingly looking like the Democratic lawmaker will face a major primary challenge if she runs for a 5th full term. Feinstein, the oldest member of the Senate, which, they never mention her age, so they can sit here and say she's a dinosaur, but they can't say her age, has been the target of sustained liberal criticism since January. Her centrist brand of politics, which I love how they call her a centrist, which 20 years ago she was a far-left lunatic, but the left has moved so far into outright Stalinism that she is now a centrist. Her centrist brand of politics, skeptical view of single-payer health care, and support for some of the president's earliest nominees have drawn the ire of progressives who have little tolerance for Feinstein's pragmatic approach to the Trump era. She recently said something along the lines of, I think that we can work with Trump. He's not so bad, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, Lord.
And you can't say that.
She's done.
She's out.
Yeah.
You have to hashtag resist, Craig.
Yes.
Hashtag resistance is the only thing that matters.
Yes. Resist that, resist the hurricane, everything.
I can make a joke. There were some great memes, though, like, anti-Trump resistance party, Miami Beach, Florida, it's on the 9th. Come on out. 9th and 10th. Rain or shine.
Yeah.
These poor people. But the thing is, she has been critical of Trump.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The thing that, this is why she's going to be primaried, is what these people say. She said, quote, Trump this is the quote, can be a good president. That's it.
Oof.
Therefore, we have to get this woman out of office. She's totally insane.
Gotta get Bernie Sanders down there and take his spot.
That's right. Well, Bernie's supposed to be forming a new party, so maybe he'll form it in California. That would be the perfect test market.
Is it just going to be called the Communist Party or what?
No, that would be an old party. It will be the Democratic Communist Party.
Oh, yeah.
Therefore, it's totally different and not communistic at all, because it's democratic.
True. Yeah.
Put democratic in front of anything, it's different.
Yeah, just changes the whole game.
Democratic bank robbery.
Democratic National Socialist Movement, perhaps.
Hey, there we go. Now we're brainstorming. We're spitballing. We've got to take a moment off. You're watching The Honest Media. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Welcome back to The Honest Media. Now, this is a story that we've been following this for probably over a year now. It's one of the topics Craig is very passionate about, and this has to do with Hollyweird, the leftist den of degeneracy where they blame Trump for everything and literally anybody else for the other problems they have. Now, Hollywood has not been having a very good time. They have had a horrendous summer. They had maybe a handful of movies that did as good as expected. The vast majority flopped. Everybody is sick of it. Everybody's sick of the superhero movies. Everybody's sick of the social justice narrative. Everybody's tired of the stupid dads, the genius kids. It's all just recycled, trashy garbage at this point. But does Hollywood take any kind of introspection? Do they realize that maybe they are the ones who are disconnected with the United States of America, with the people of the United States of America? No, of course not. Of course not. This is from the New York Times. Attacked by Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh.
You familiar with Rotten Tomatoes, Craig?
Oh, yeah.
We're not talking about a spoiled fruit. We're talking about the website where you review movies. And users can review movies as well as professional reviewers. Can't believe that's professional. Yeah. But this is from the New York Times. Hollywood had a horrible summer. Between the first weekend in May and Labor Day, a sequel-stuffed period that typically accounts for 40% of annual ticket sales, box office revenue in North America totaled $3.8 billion, a 15% decline from the same span last year. To find a slower summer, you would have to go back 20 years. Business has been so bad that America's biggest 3 theater chains have lost roughly $4 billion in market value since May. Ready for the truly alarming part? Hollywood is blaming a website, Rotten Tomatoes. I think it is the destruction of our business, said Brett Ratner, the director, producer, and film financier. He said it at a film festival this year. Some studio executives privately concede that a few recent movies, just a few, were simply bad.
Yeah.
Just a few, Craig.
Well, I'll tell you how bad they are. I haven't seen a movie all summer. I don't think I've seen one since last winter, actually.
I think the only movie that has been like a critically, it was probably Guardians of the Galaxy too.
Yeah.
And then there was I can't think of the name right now, but the Great World War II movie, Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Those
and
are
I didn't even go see that.
I heard about it.
Yeah.
I heard good things. But yeah, those are pretty much the only two movies that I've heard where just like everybody loved them. But again, the leftists, the professional reviewers outside of Rotten Tomatoes, they hated Dunkirk. They said it was horrible, toxic male masculinity,
Too
not
many-
enough minorities. You know.
They didn't have women
Yeah,
coming
they-
out of the boats getting blown up.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And so, imagine blaming the people. I mean, these are users who go on this
Yeah.
website and they make reviews. A lot of it is literally just users.
Well, it just shows how out of touch Hollywood is, and not only out of touch, they just don't care.
And the thing is, and you're the one who raised my attention to this. I did not know anything about it before you told me on this show, and I sat there on my iPhone and I Googled it in the middle of a break, and I was like, oh my God, he's right.
Yeah.
But China has a insane effect on Hollywood. China gets to set the stage for Hollywood. Movies have been completely. What was the movie?
Red Dawn.
Red Dawn
Yeah,
was
they
supposed
had
to be about China,
Yeah.
and they couldn't make it about China.
They had to go and digitally remaster all the Chinese flags and symbols and everything out of the movie.
And make it into North Korean flags,
Yeah,
because they're somebody it's okay hating.
Yeah.
And they had to do that for one specific reason. In the current year, it's very, very important to get your movie released in China. Even though China picks about a dozen movies from America, from international in general, to put into their theaters. They don't like American movies, they don't like Western movies, they don't want Western movies, but they pick about 12 every year because they know we have the best culture. So, because communism destroys culture,
Yeah.
they don't create culture. So, all the movie producers, they have to kowtow to China and do whatever they want. And you can't do anything too offensive or too specific because you have to get into China because they're a bigger market than America.
Yeah. And I can't remember the exact number, but I know China owns quite a few of the large movie producing studios now, so or has a giant stake in them.
That's also true. I mean, and you think you may think we're just making this up. I would think I was just making this. I thought Craig was just making it up. But this is from the LA Times. This is mainstream media. This is not fringe. This is not out there. This is none of those things. This is op-ed from 2016, October 2016, just little under a year ago. Hollywood's dangerous obsession with China. American film studios are playing a leading role in the growing strategic and ideological competition between China and the United States, and Washington is taking note. 16 members of Congress wrote a letter calling for scrutiny of Chinese investments in the U.S. film industry. And former Representative Frank Wolf of Virginia wants a review of Hollywood's pursuit of the Chinese box office. The quote is, by controlling and the financing and distribution of American movies in China, and by subjecting them to censorship, Beijing could effectively dictate what is and isn't made.
Well, they basically already are, so
There you
Yeah.
have it. And so instead of Hollywood having just an ounce of introspection and saying, well, maybe it's because instead of trying to make our domestic American audience, who we've been serving for 60 plus years, instead of trying to please them, maybe it's because we're trying to make China happy. No. They can't
that's
do that.
probably why all the movies suck now.
Yeah, well, exactly.
They got some
but they can't do any of that.
Chinese
introspection.
commies standing over their shoulder saying, "No, you can't do that."
No, that criticizes Marx. You can't do that. No. That casts the party in a negative light. You can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it is literally insane to think of a government half the world away that is generally not the most friendly government to anybody. United States, homosexuals, people who differ in religious beliefs, it's a very not a good place to live.
Yeah.
And they are deciding what movies play. I mean, it's totally insane. And so back to the back to the New York Times article. Studio executives' complaints about Rotten Tomatoes, not China. You know, I would love to redo this entire article, but use China instead of Rotten Tomatoes, and it would suddenly make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But the studio executives' complaints about Rotten Tomatoes include the way its tomato meter hacks off critical nuance, the site's seemingly loose definition of who qualifies as a critic, and the spread of the tomato meter scores across the web. Did you ever think that you would be reading about tomato meters as the reason why movies are failing?
No.
Tomato meters.
Yeah.
Last year, the tomato meter scores started appearing on Fandango, the online movie ticket selling site, leading to they're saying that it's all these people's fault. Why is it so bad that consumers have choice? Maybe they love China. Maybe they really love communism, and so they're totally on board with China. They're mad that American consumers have the ability to look up their movies, find out they're trash before they go and spend the money, and so maybe that's what's happening.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what's happening.
Maybe they just really, really, really hate consumers and consumers having choices.
Yeah.
They want there to be movie, and you go see movie at theater.
Even if it sucks.
Yeah. There is no choice in movies. Mm-hmm. There is no choice in theater. There is movie, there is theater. You go there, you give them money.
Sounds a lot like China.
There you go.
Yeah.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
All right, we've got to take another moment off. We'll be right back in the next few minutes. You're watching The Honest Media. Welcome back to The Honest Media. So I want to keep going on this, Hollywood-China connection for just a minute, because it is just, it's too weird to me. It's just too weird that these people are blaming a website. There are 36 people working at Rotten Tomatoes. These 36 people are the downfall of an industry that has been quintessentially American for decades.
Downfall of a multi-billion-dollar industry, 36 people.
I hope they're making very good money.
Yeah.
Very good money.
Uh-huh.
They're totally insane. King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, got a tomato meter score of 28, and anything below 60 is marked rotten. And audiences stayed away. After costing Warner Brothers at least $175 million to make, the movie took in $39 million at the domestic box office in total.
That's not very good.
I would say it's not a success. They have room for improvement.
Mm-hmm.
But rather than saying, wow, we missed the mark on this movie, what did we do wrong? Maybe we need to rethink. Was it marketing? Was it the stars? Was it the writing? Was it the leftist propaganda we're shoving down everybody's throat in every single movie made in the last 25 years? No. It was the fact that this website said nasty things.
Yeah. I actually found that not to be too bad of a movie, but I probably wouldn't have paid to go see it at the theater.
What would you give it in your tomato meter score?
60's the good one.
60's the cutoff.
Oh, like a 40.
Like a 40.
Yeah.
There you go. Not that good.
Yeah. Good, but not terrible.
So, and of course, this is the New York Times. We're not reading real journalism right now, but they've got some interesting factoids in here. But this is how they present. The New York Times is clearly taking a side in this article. How did a clunky website that's been around for 19 years amass such power? Clunky website, 19 years, such power. Insane. The 36 people who work at Rotten Tomatoes hardly seem like industry killers. The site staff occupies a relatively ordinary Beverly Hills office complex, albeit one with conference rooms named La La Land and Oz, and includes people like Jeff Voris, an easygoing former Disney executive with graying hair who oversees operations, and Timothy Ryan, a former newspaper reporter who is a Rotten Tomatoes senior editor, and lists Leonard Maltin's Movie Guide as favorite reading. The employee with the pink mohawk, I think maybe we got a picture of that. I doubt it. It's New York Times. They failed miserably at this stuff. Is Gray Drake, a senior movie editor. She does a lot of video interviews and lately has been helping to fill a void created when Matt Atchity left as editor-in-chief for a bigger job. I mean, they basically sit here and run down all these different people and say how these guys are destroying the movie industry. But
all they do is make remakes of
that's
old
the
stuff
thing. And sequels and superhero movies. And you know, culture critics, it's common sense, really. It's not like this is groundbreaking stuff, but they're safe.
Yeah.
Superhero movies, you're not going to run into a lot of controversy. So there's no big statements being made. There's no moral to the story. It's Batman defeats the Joker again.
Yeah. Nothing new and original, no new ideas, no awesome storylines, just idiots and dressed up in outfits battling each other.
Made for the biggest mass market possible. I mean, it used to be that a movie. I mean, look at some of the great movies that you think of out there. You know, look at Goodfellas. Who knew that was going to be a success?
Yeah.
Look at The Godfather. I mean, the average movie watcher nowadays probably couldn't sit through The Godfather. It's too slow and too methodical.
Yeah.
But think of all these movies, and now what do you get? What is the big movie that everybody likes? Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy had really good music.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
new Avengers movies, get one every summer, or
Exactly.
one of them characters, and that's it.
Exactly. And
there's probably a lot of good stuff getting wrote out there, but they ain't going to give it to us because they want us to watch the same old dribble.
They got to get it to China.
Yep.
They got to get it to China. Totally insane. And now this is, and of course, like we say, you know, that the media seems to have a sick fascination with China and North Korea. There was an article I was going to print off, but I just couldn't make myself give the guy any publicity. But it was a guy openly defending North Korea and saying that it's a workers' paradise, and it's the United States who's backwards. But this is a professor, by the way. Of course.
Workers' paradise.
Workers' paradise.
Awesome.
I mean, you starve, so I guess you don't got to worry about diets. So that's kind of a paradise. But this is the L.A. Times. Back to the L.A. Times. There are upsides to Hollywood's courtship of China. Fine Chinese actors are now regularly cast in American movies. That is how they think of this. It's good because we get additional actors. We can't get enough people domestically.
Like there's not enough actors out there already.
There's not enough idiots going to L.A. trying to make it big, and then they end up doing
heroin on the street
or the adult section of the film industry. There are not enough actors. We got to import them from China. Just like nobody's going to pick the grapes, so we got to import them from Mexico. That's how liberals think. They continue, but China's film industry isn't run by the talent. It's run by the Chinese Communist Party, which has grown increasingly assertive and increasingly paranoid since President Xi Jinping came to power in 2012. He is waging a soft power campaign that requires artists, filmmakers, writers, academics, and the media to, quote, serve socialism and, quote, show positive energy by offering uplifting messages about the party. Literal 1984 style manipulation and propagandizing.
How wonderful.
And now we're doing the job for him.
Yeah.
He's exporting it from America.
Well, China, I don't know. They own probably a large percentage of this country right now as far as farmlands, shipyards, everything else. So now they got the movie industry too. They'll probably own the whole country here in a few years unless Trump can stop them.
Well, and he just got off the phone with the president of China, which president is a misnomer for this guy. He's the appointed leader of the Communist Party. But I think if anybody can do it, it will be Trump. He's been very
I know he
hard on
angered
China.
him the other week by threatening some sort of trade sanction on him for messing with North Korea.
Well, he said that he'd put a new sanction on, from my memory, he put a new sanction on them and said if they work with North Korea, maybe we'll be nicer.
Yeah.
Which is a good statement. But I mean, it's just totally insane. In China, of course, they don't have any options. You can't get on Facebook. You can't get on one of the many. You can't get Netflix or anything like this.
You can get on them, but it's incredibly censored.
It's incredibly censored, and you probably got to use a VPN if you don't want a visit from the party.
Yeah.
You don't want the resident Gestapo coming after you. So they don't have any choices about the entertainment they do, so they go to the 10 movies that Hollywood picked out for them, or that the Chinese Communist Party picked out for them. They go to the 10 movies, and they decide, oh, this must be wonderful. And then the box office is insane because you've got billions of people in China. Next thing you know, oh, look how successful this movie was. We need more communist tripe to make the communists happy. It's totally insane. So what I guess I'm saying is, sorry, Bill Warren, but people should probably stop going to movie theaters. We'll be right back after the break. You're watching The Honest Media. Welcome back to The Honest Media. Now, this is something that I have experienced firsthand. It's something that everybody knows is happening, but it's very rare that people admit it outright. We're talking, of course, about the blatant indoctrination that happens in higher education. We're talking about colleges and universities here. And this is from the Gateway Pundit. Professors operate program intended to brainwash straight white men, that's a quote, to make them, another quote, social justice advocates. PC, brah. You PC? It's a the meme used to be that The Simpsons was predicting the future. I officially think South Park has nailed it way better than The Simpsons ever could.
Yeah.
You PC, bro? You PC?
We're probably 100 years from the Goobacks taking over. So
there you go. They'll come back in time and say, after Trump, man, Hillary got elected and everything just went downhill.
Yeah.
You gotta, for those who don't get the reference, it's nothing racist. You gotta Google it.
Uh-huh.
But this is from Gateway Pundit. When we take a look at campus culture, it's not hard to realize we live in a sick and disgusting time, and that the people teaching our children how to excel in the workforce or excel in their specialized career field are actually attempting to brainwash and manipulate your son or daughter. Two professors at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse are researching how to better brainwash your straight white male son and make him a social justice activist. It's appalling, frustrating, and sickening. Just realize this, all the parents out there. If you send your kid to any state-funded university or any liberal arts college, you are gambling with their sanity and the likelihood that when they come home for Thanksgiving during their first semester of their freshman year and complain about the genocide of Native Americans is high. And you should know that they are in the throes of a psychological war that will take years to win. About 4, actually. 4 years. 4-year degree. They try to get you to do 5 nowadays.
No,
because they like, you don't need that class. Take 3 classes this semester and spend the rest of the time smoking dope and attending Communist Party meetings. That'd be great. Be great. According to Campus Reform, Victoria Svadoba and Jorg Vianden, who are both professors, talk about Russian influence.
Yeah,
who are
what's
both
going on?
professors, launched a project in 2014 called Challenging Straight White Men to Develop Positive Social Justice Advocacy. Again, this is something we all know happens, but it is very rare when they're just like in the title.
Yeah.
I mean, that is as in your face as you can get. I was told by one of my feminist, liberal, progressive, Trump-hating professors that she tries to. This is almost a quote, because I would say, I understand your politics, but I appreciate that you don't shove it down my face. And she said, I want to say this is a direct quote. I try to code it better than that. In other words, I try to slip it in.
Yeah.
I don't make it overt. I make it covert, and then therefore it's okay.
Yeah.
That was me sucking up, by the way. But anyway, this is a quote from Campus Reform. Since the project's inception, the two have interviewed more than 180 undergraduate students, half of them who identified as heterosexual white men, to uncover what motivates their widespread apathy towards social justice. Maybe because it's pointless. I don't know. That was my apathy.
Maybe because they're smart.
Maybe,
and they don't
because
care
they're
about
smart enough to get into college.
Yeah.
Unless challenged effectively during college, heterosexual white men may leave college no more adept at functioning in a diverse world than when they entered, the professors warned. Which, that is clearly the big issue at play here. Not learning how to do a job, not learning a skill, not, becoming a more productive member of society in exchange for the $40,000 plus you give to the institution. No, the goal of the operation is to vote Democrat.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's the goal of the
They
operation.
teach you how to be a tranny and everything else, and use the women's restroom, and
That's right.
on and on and on and on and on.
Grow into the bearded lady, and
Yeah.
that's the plan. That's the plan. So through their research, Svadoba and Vianden found a few common explanations for why white men resist social justice. How dare we?
I know.
How dare we? Which, by the way, I don't think this is. Resisting social justice in college, that's like going into a Klan rally and saying, "Hi guys, I'd like you to meet my mixed child."
Yeah.
It is literally, people are hostile, they're nasty, they laugh in your face, they spit in your general. I literally had somebody spit on the sidewalk in front of me when I was wearing my Trump hat. True story. It is a harassing, rude environment. Just the other day, I should get the email and read it, but then I'd probably get pestered by the university. Just the other day, I got on my old university email. The president the dean of the university sent out a nasty email about how DACA was a wonderful program and they will oppose Trump. This little university in Kansas, they will stop Trump. They will stump the Trump. I mean, that's the type. I mean, so if you are on the right, like really on the right, like not a libertarian or a Kasich conservative or whatever, if you're really on the right in college, you are a rebel. You are like fighting the system. You are the counterculture.
Yeah.
But according to these people, it's like all straight white men are still evil.
Yeah, there's probably only like 5 of them at each college, so.
Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. About 5 people who aren't totally insane.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are just apathetic in general, but when necessary, they will parrot the social justice insanity. So this is the solution that the professors came up with. As a solution, the professors encourage their white male colleagues to intervene in men's spaces on campus, specifically advising them to target fraternities and athletic teams for conversations designed to get them to believe the garbage. That's basically where we're going with this.
I just saw a story where a frat party was canceled because there was a banana peel outside
That's right.
of it.
There was a banana peel on the tree, and it triggered them.
Yeah.
That is the state of collegiate education, of higher learning in the United States of America.
Pathetic.
In the current year.
If you go to college, you're going to come out 10 times dumber than when you went in.
Well,
and
that is actually proven, maybe not 10 times, but it's actually proven. They give incoming freshmen, a standardized test. They give them the same standardized test 4 years later. They actually score worse.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And there's all kinds of thoughts of, well, it's because they got so specialized in whatever discipline, or, well, it's because, they're studying medicine and the test has lots of stuff about math,
Yeah.
But no, I mean, they don't teach anything. I can honestly say, except for a handful of classes, I could have learned that, you got to learn Spanish with a teacher more than likely.
Yeah.
But except for a couple of classes, I could have learned everything in college with a library card and an internet connection.
Yeah,
But I
you
have
really
the
can.
piece of paper, and that's what matters in America's eyes. We've got to take a moment off. When we come back, we've got a couple more stories. We're going to tell you exactly how messed up the rest of the world is. We've been telling you about America's higher education system. Well, wait till you hear about Britain. We've also got some information about Mark Zuckerberg. Zuck 2020 is looking more and more like a thing. What's going on with him this week? As well as some great news about the EPA. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to the Honest Media. Thank you for joining us this week. As I said before the break, we've got a few more interesting stories we want to share with you. We told you about the state of American education, about the state of democracy, freedom of speech in America, basically in general. Now, let's talk about what's happening in our good old friends across the pond. Why not? This comes from metro.co.uk, and this is the absolute state of Great Britain. Law student who mocked ISIS, the Islamic State in Syria, on Facebook is accused of hate crime.
Yeah. You get big trouble over there for just saying anything negative about ISIS or anything. It's ridiculous.
ISIS.
Yeah.
It's the people who blow us up and want to kill us. It's ISIS. It's totally insane.
Yeah.
Robbie Travers is being investigated following claims he committed a hate crime, despite there being no criminal investigation by police. The 21-year-old, who is in his third year of a law degree, wrote a Facebook post after the U.S. Air Force bombed an ISIS stronghold in Afghanistan in April. That would be the Moab, the mother of all bombs. He wrote, "I'm glad we could bring these barbarians a step closer to collecting their 72 virgins." That's a kind sentiment. That's a nice thing to say.
Funny, too.
It's a nice thing to say. We're helping them achieve what they've always wanted to achieve in life, dying in the name of jihad and getting their 72 virgins. Hopefully they don't get there and find out that they're like, men.
And we helped them in a glorious way.
That's right.
Yes.
In a beautiful way, heard across the country, heard across the world. But his comments led to a complaint by another student Esme Alman, who accused him of, quote, blatant Islamophobia.
Mm-hmm.
That is blatantly Islamophobic.
Oh.
Blatant Islamophobic.
It's terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Just deplorable.
Over there, you literally can't say anything about them, or they got them like Facebook cops and stuff. They'll come arrest you.
You can find them on Twitter. I mean, they sit there. What is it? The Wiltshire Police Department. They've been memed to oblivion because they post with a bunch of emojis and misspelled words on their Twitter. This is real. This is real. You can look it up. They sit there and they say things like, "If you think your Nazi propaganda is going to exist online, think again, buddy. We're on our way."
Yeah.
It's like, what?
This ridiculous stuff. Something about don't go to the gym and stuff.
Because going to the gym is a sign that you are a right-wing white supremacist. Fraternizing with men is a sign that you are a right-wing white supremacist. That's so hard to say. White-wing right supremacist? I don't know.
Yeah.
But so this is what the guy says. Ms. Allman, a second-year history student, says that he put minority students at risk and in a state of panic.
Oh, Lord.
Panic! Pandemonium.
Had to get a safe room, probably.
That's right. Had to get to the safe space immediately and immediately start watching the My Little Pony program.
Yes.
It's a show about friendship or so I've heard. And it breached the student code of conduct with his comments. Yet Mr. Travers claims his post was a response to Miss Allman allegedly calling black men trash, according to the Times. Writing on Facebook yesterday, he said, "Afraid I've been a little more quiet as I have been accused by Islamophobia because I mocked ISIS, and I'm being investigated on such a ground by my university." Mocking ISIS allegedly made Islamic and minority students feel threatened. He also said he has engaged legal advice to dismiss this nonsense, and he added, "Wish me luck."
Yeah, well, good luck, bud.
Good luck. Good luck, Mr. Travers. The world is watching at the cuckolded United Kingdom.
Europe is just gone.
If you get far enough east, it starts getting a little bit better.
Yeah.
But they're doing everything they can to bring Hungary, Poland, all the decent countries. They're doing their best to bring them down.
Who's the Islamic mayor over there?
Sadiq Khan.
Yeah.
Who says that Donald Trump must be permanently banned from the country because he's such a bigot.
Mm-hmm.
That's.
I need to get rid of that loser immediately.
Well, you know the most popular baby's name for a boy born in London.
Muhammad.
Yeah. I mean, it's not anything like a good British name. It's not.
Muhammad is a British name, Tom.
That's. I'm clearly just being a bigot with my privileged understanding of what Britain is historically.
They probably outnumber the local populations or the native population.
Well, I mean,
of Britain
there
now.
are, whether they want to believe it or not, there are no-go zones in the since you can't go in that zone.
Yeah, there's lots of them.
They don't call it a no-go zone, so therefore it's not a no-go zone. But it's a no-go
Muslims
zone.
and Somalis.
That's right. We love our Muslims. We love our Somalis.
Yes.
Oh, they're so good.
Oh, they're so great.
So now this is I got to get to this because Mark Zuckerberg is a horrible human being. I can't stand him. He constantly looks like an alien from the Mass Effect series. That's the nicest thing I could say about him. Who is constantly plotting the destruction of people who he considers lower than him. I think we're all just the Krogan in his life, in his fantasy. But this is a report from Gateway Pundit. Mark Zuckerberg gave Robert Mueller, that's of course the special counsel who's supposed to be investigating something Russia, for the Trump-Russia investigation. He gave him data. He gave him data from Facebook. CNBC reports an internal Facebook investigation has found it is, quote, likely that Russian operatives spent $100,000 on ads with, quote, divisive messages between June 2015 and May 2017. So now Russians aren't even allowed to use Facebook because that is unlawful. Unlawfully.
How much money did Hillary Clinton spend? Over $1 billion she wasted?
$100,000 here. Yeah, Hillary Clinton lost like $1.2 billion on her campaign. What about all the super packs in the world. It makes no sense to me that these people can't spend $100,000 on Facebook. That is nothing. I know Facebook.
I'd like to see how much China spent.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
That'd be interesting. I'd like to know how much Trump and Hillary spent on their own.
Yeah.
I know Facebook marketers, the guys who are basically Facebook millionaires, who spend millions of dollars on advertising a year. One guy told me he spends over $1 million on advertising a year.
Yes.
And it's like, so we're talking $100,000. This is a drop in the bucket
Yeah, it's
of
nothing.
Facebook.
They might have
nothing.
reached like 5,000 people with that $100,000.
You never know
Yeah.
if it wasn't well targeted.
Because they limit the reach of whatever Zuckerberg doesn't like.
And
so.
Exactly. It's so
Or he
totally
just shuts your
insane.
page off.
And that happens a lot. R.I.P. disdain for plebs.
Yeah.
But it's totally insane. That is where we are. And that people are advertising on Facebook. Therefore, they hacked the election.
Yes.
Facebook ads are literally Hitler. Now, I say, we like to leave you with some good news. We leave you with a pleasant taste in your mouth. And nothing Facebook related can do that. That is just that has a taste that I can't say what I want to say. Starts with the PH, though. This is from the Washington Examiner, though. EPA staff levels, that's the Environmental Protection Agency, hit 30-year low this month. The Environmental Protection Agency's workforce numbers are expected to drop to levels unseen since President Ronald Reagan was in office through an employee buyout program that kicks in this month, according to an agency official. President Trump promised to cut the bloated size of government, and here we are, one of the most destructive government agencies being reduced to, how often do you hear about a government agency decreasing in size?
Yeah.
It is a unicorn.
Hopefully
in
that
terms of news
spreads
coverage.
across the board to all of them.
That would be a beautiful, beautiful thing. And before we end the show today, I just wanted to wish all the best in the world to our friends in Texas, in Florida, and Puerto Rico, and throughout the Caribbean who are facing horrible, horrible natural disasters. Obviously, you're going to recover. Obviously, it's going to be fine. Just get through the next little while. Thank you for watching The Honest Media. I'm Tom Pappert here with Craig Chrysler. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place.